right, good evening, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. We have two panel of experts here this evening. You have myself. My name is Jordan Hessian. I'm the Assistant Director for Orientation and Admissions here in the Graduate College. I'm the point of contact for prospective applicants like you all. So if you have any questions about our graduate programs or the admissions process, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to assist you. My contact information is here, and then it'll also be at the very end as well. And then we also have Juliana Snyder. She is the Assistant Director in Test Preparation, and she is going to give you all of the tips and tricks on how to get prepared for your GRE and GMAT, what those tests entail, and then as well as any English proficiency exams for those of you that are non-native English speakers as well. So our agenda for the evening, I'm going to go over financial aid information for graduate students. Then I'll turn it over to Juliana. She's going to go over testing and test preparation. And then it'll come back to me and I'll go over everything graduate admissions. And then, as I mentioned, we'll take all of your questions and do all the answers at the very end. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump right into graduate student financial aid. So the very first thing that you want to do is submit your FAFSA. This is going to be the same FAFSA application that you submitted as an undergraduate student, except now you're going to be saying, I'm going to be a graduate student, right? And the main difference as filling it out as a graduate student is you're going to be filling it out as an independent student because graduate students are considered independent for financial aid reasons. This usually helps students maximize their financial aid opportunities, usually because you're not working full-time and you're not using mom and dad's salary and income information from their W-2s. So make sure you fill it out as an independent student. If you're going to be starting a program with us this summer, which we still have a summer 3 term, you want to make sure that you fill out the 2020-2021 application because that's where summer 21 is located. If you're going to be beginning a program in fall 2021, spring 2022, or summer 2022, you want to fill out the 21-22 FAFSA application. That's been open since October 1st. And so you just get on and fill that out for that academic year. If you're going to be starting a program in fall 22, spring 23, or summer 23, then that FAFSA application will be opening on October 1st. So they open October 1st every single year. So just put an alert in your phone. That way you know when it opens, you can get on right away and just submit your FAFSA for the next academic year. FAU had a priority deadline of January 1st, and then we had our secondary deadline of March 1st. Don't worry that if you haven't submitted it yet, those are just our guidelines for our FAFSA applications, but we're still taking in FAFSA applications and they're still putting together financial aid packages for new students. So don't let it stress you out that you haven't submitted it yet. Just get on and submit it as soon as you can. So some of the financial aid that's available for graduate students, the first thing you're going to get offered via your FAFSA application is a student loan. And then you'll also potentially get offered our FAU graduate student grant, which I'll go over in just a little bit. We also have ample number of scholarships and fellowships that you can apply for, and then as well as assistantship opportunities. And for those of you that may be working full-time, ask your employer if they have tuition reimbursement. A lot of companies now have some type of tuition reimbursement for their employees, and it's a great way to get your graduate education paid for if they have something like that. So the first thing that you're going to get offered when you submit your FAFSA application is a unsubsidized loan. Now, there's no credit check. It's solely based off of your financial information that you input into your FAFSA. There is an annual limit of $20,500. So that's anything that you would borrow for fall, spring, and summer. So you want to keep that in mind when you're taking out your loans. That's the maximum that you can get through an unsubsidized loan. The difference between what you're going to get offered as a graduate student and potentially what you got offered as an undergraduate student is that with an unsubsidized loan, the interest does begin accruing at the time of disbursement. So while you don't have to make any payments on the principal of your loans, they do recommend that you at least try to make the interest payments. That way the interest doesn't build up while you're pursuing your graduate degree. They also have a lifetime limit of $138,500. So that is going to be anything that you borrowed as an undergraduate student, anything you plan on borrowing for your master's program, and then potentially anything that you want to borrow for your doctoral degree. And you're saying, Jordan, that's a lot of money. I'm never going to reach that. You'd be surprised how many students will maximize their financial aid through like just their undergraduate studies because they're out of state or they're going to a private school. and they had to take out that amount of loans to cover that education. So keep that in mind. And I'll give you a really good resource in a little bit where you can go and check how much money you've borrowed so far and what the status of your student loans are, if you have any. If you are potentially an out-of-state student and that $20,500 is not enough to cover your expenses for an academic year, you can apply for a Graduate Plus loan. Now, this is a little different that you are going to go through a credit check, and it's not something that's going to be automatically awarded to you. You do apply for it through studentloans.gov, and it does have a slightly higher interest rate than the unsubsidized loan has. But this is a good option for any of you that are out of state and are looking for maybe your loans to cover some of your housing expenses while you're pursuing your degree. Grants. So I mentioned our FAU graduate grant at the very beginning. What our graduate grant is, it's a need-based grant, and it's solely based off of your FAFSA information. That's why we have our priority deadline of January 1st, because it is a first come, first served grant. And once the funds run out for that year, that's it. There's no more awarding of funds for that academic year. So if you haven't submitted your FAFSA yet, go ahead and just get it submitted. They're not going to put together a financial aid package until you're admitted to a graduate program here at FAU, but you could at least get the application submitted. And that way, when you do receive your admissions decision, it'll be there in the queue waiting for them to review to put your package together. Keep in mind that graduate students are not eligible to receive state and federal grants. So some of you may be accustomed to receiving a Pell Grant now as an undergraduate student. You would not be eligible to receive a Pell Grant as a graduate student. Scholarships. So I mentioned that there are ample number of scholarships offered at FAU. You can find them on our financial aid website, and I put the direct link there to where you can find them. You just navigate to the types of aid and then the scholarships section. There, I would say, are hundreds of scholarships listed on that page. And I would encourage you to take some time and read through them. You're not going to be eligible for all of them, but you may find some that you are eligible for, and I would encourage you to submit applications. You would apply for these through your My FAU account, and you would just put in some of your personal information, like your Z number, which is your student ID number, what level of degree you're studying, what program you're pursuing, and then it'll show you the applications that you could be eligible to apply for based off of your level of study. But I would really encourage you to look through these. They open their applications every spring semester, and then they close June 30th. So if you are starting a program in the fall or trying to start a program in the fall, take a look, because you have about another month to apply for some of these scholarships that the financial aid office is offering. So reviewing your borrowing history. So for any of you that have student loans like I do, you really want to know kind of where you stand with your student loans, right? You want to know how much money you owe, what the standing of those student loans are, who's potentially servicing your student loans if you are already back in repayment. You can determine this at nslds.ed.gov. This is going to be a comprehensive screenshot of what service provider you should be making payments to, if you're in repayment, if you're in deferment because you're currently pursuing a degree, if you are in default because you haven't been making payments, and how much money is owed on each of the loans that you've taken out. So this is a good place to just kind of check where you're at and do some checks and balances. This is also where you would do your exit counseling. So once you're completely done with a program, you do your exit counseling that basically just says, yes, I know I took out student loans, and yes, I promise I'm going to make payments back on them. But this is also where you would do that. So scholarships. So more about scholarships. For those of you that graduated from a Florida high school and were awarded Bright Futures, you may potentially be eligible for an additional semester of Bright Futures funding. Now, that is not something that's going to be automatically awarded to you. They're not going to know that you have remaining funds available in your Bright Futures. What you want to do is you want to send an email to your financial aid counselor and say, hey, I think I may have some Bright Futures funding remaining. Can you just take a look and let me know? And if they say, yes, you actually do, I'll go ahead and apply that to your account. They'll go ahead and get it applied to your financial aid account. The only caveat to this is that it does pay out at the undergraduate tuition rate. So you would just be responsible for paying the difference between our undergraduate tuition and our graduate tuition. So it doesn't pay for all of it, but it does definitely help if you're looking for some additional funding there. enrollment. So it's important to know that in order to receive financial aid at FAU, you need to be enrolled at least half-time. Half-time for our fall and spring semesters is 4.5 to 6 credits. And then we consider full-time 9 credits. So if you're enrolled in at least 9 credits, you would be able to maximize your financial aid refund, I guess. For summer, we consider half-time 3.5 to 4 credits, and full-time is 6 credits. So if you want to maximize your refund there, that is what your enrollment would look like. If you're enrolled in anything less than half-time, you would not be eligible for financial aid from the university. It doesn't mean that you couldn't potentially apply for some scholarships or fellowships. You just wouldn't be eligible for any of the federal student aid that they would award you. So debt management. Before you borrow, you want to determine how much money you actually need. You don't want to be paying back student loans forever. You do want to see that light at the end of the tunnel. So they have a cost of attendance calculator on the financial aid website, and I would encourage you to take a look at that. You can let it know like how many credits you plan to take and at what level, and then they'll kind of estimate how much money you would need for that particular semester or academic year. And that way you can make an informed decision on how much money you do want to borrow if you have to go the student loan route. Stay in good standing, make sure that you understand the terms and conditions when it comes to your student loans. That's really important that you read the fine print. And then the financial aid website does have a great site on debt management, and I put the website there. So if any of you want to take a look at that, you have that opportunity. Here's just a recap of the resources for financial aid. So the nslds.ed.gov, that's where you could check on the status of your student loans. Studentloans.gov is where you would go to apply for the Graduate Plus loan. FAFSA.gov is where you would submit your FAFSA application. Please make sure that you're accessing it through the .gov website. Much like a lot of things in 2021, there are phony websites and people out there that are trying to, get your personal information. So make sure that you are submitting it through the .gov website. It's a free application. You do not have to pay for it. So if it's asking for payment information, close that browser. You're not in the right application. Make sure you get the free application. And then our financial aid website is fau.edu/finaid. So if you want more information on your financial aid options here at FAU, that is where you can go. Contact information. So once you become a graduate student here at FAU, you're going to be assigned a financial aid counselor. Financial aid counselors are determined by your last name. Here, just for some general information, I put their phone number and then again their website. So if you just want to call and ask some questions, you can do that. Or if you go to the financial aid website, you can actually contact your financial aid counselor, or who would be your financial aid counselor once you're admitted. You'll see their contact information there as well. So that is the financial aid portion. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Juliana. So Juliana, take it away.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Hello, everyone. My name is Juliana Snyder. I am the Assistant Director for Test Prep here at FAU, and it's a pleasure to have all of you here. For the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to review with you some information regarding test prep, as well as testing that may be required for your application. So some of you may not be aware, but we have a testing and evaluation department here on campus, and that it provides testing to a lot of the actual tests. So if you're interested in the GRE, on TOEFL, etc., that service is provided here for you at the FAU campus. My department is a test preparation department. We are part of the umbrella under the testing and evaluation. However, we operate completely separate. So you can go to the website for testing, which is fau.edu/testing. And here are some of the tests that you might find that are available to you on campus, that as you're reviewing admissions requirements, you may come across some of those. So here at the Boca Raton campus, we offer the Graduate Record Examination, most commonly referred to as GRE. We also do offer the LSAT. It's the pre-law test, the law school admissions test. You may also come across a request for the Miller Analysis Test. The MCAT, which is the pre-med, which is the Medical College Admissions Test. And for those of you who might be international, the test of English is a foreign language, or the TOEFL is also a test option for you here on campus. Now, because of COVID, there are a lot of the tests that are being offered at home. So this is something for you to know. Some of the tests are listed here. For instance, the GRE, there's an option for you to take that test online. And by online, we mean here that you are at home taking the test. For all of those tests, by the way, there are going to be requirements for you to test your requirements beforehand. Usually every single test maker has different requirements, but they will want to make sure that, you know, you do like a 360 over, like go around with your camera before a test starts. Some of them may actually help you with taking the test at home and having the material. So it's something that you want to check out. But some of the tests that are currently offering that option, it's still current. The GRE, the GMAT, which is the pre-business. It's a test most commonly done for business school. The TOEFL, the test of English as a foreign language, as well as two other English tests. The Duolingo, I'm going to talk about it in more details a little later, and the International English Language Testing System, which we refer to as IELTS. Now, most of you on this call may be looking into the GRE and the GMAT in particular. So let's talk about it in more details. The GRE is usually required by some graduate courses. There are 3 sections: the writing, quantitative, and verbal. The testing time is 4.5 hours. And this is a test that it is offered, the actual test is offered at the Boca Raton campus at FAU. Those of you who might be interested in business, and some programs, other programs also may ask for the GMAT, or you have the option to take the GMAT. So if this is an option for you, there are 4 sections for the GMAT. So it also has the writing, quantitative, and verbal, and it has an added section, the integrated reasoning. The testing time, however, is also 4.5 hours. We don't offer the GMAT, the actual test at the FAU campus. It is taken at the Pearson Center. The closest one is in Deerfield, for those of you who are local. However, the test prep office does offer courses for both the GRE and the GMAT. Before we go into the GRE and the GMAT in a little more detail for you, we wanted to pause and tell you that because of COVID, there are GMAT and GRE waivers for many of the programs. So here at FAU, the programs that are listed on the screen for you are the programs still requiring GRE and GMAT. If the program that you're looking for is not listed, it's currently being waived. I will mention to you, because I have been in the test prep industry for a long time, that even if it's not required, you should take advantage if you can, if it's a possibility for you. And we'll go review all the tests really in more details later. But it makes you, it signals to the program that it might be a strong applicant. Maybe you don't have an option to go back and redo your GPA. So there's no harm in taking or preparing for tests, and we'll talk about it, some resources that you can look into if you are interested in taking the exams. So let's start with the GRE. So what I would tell you is, as I was saying, I think there is even if it's not required, we don't know when it might be required. Again, preparation is not something that you want to leave to the last minute. We have seen students who, even though it's not required, their individual application, the program requested that they take it to make them a little stronger candidates. So if you might consider if it's an option for you to take, even if it's not required, I would absolutely recommend that you visit the actual test makers' websites. So let's start with the GRE. So you can go to gre.org, and this is a screenshot, so we can zoom out for you, but I would absolutely encourage you to go online and check out all the resources. There's a lot of information there, and all the test maker site about testing locations, testing options, disabilities information, and there's a lot there. As well as normally they have most paid and free resources. For the GRE, for instance, if you have been out of school for a while or you just need a refresher, they do offer like 100-page math refresher for free. If you have taken the GRE and want to get a more in-depth analysis of your score, that is available for you free as well. So again, There are free questions there for you, and I absolutely recommend you take advantage of those resources. Thank you, Jordan. So the next one is MBA.com. This is where you're going to find information about the GMAT and to sign up for the GMAT. The GMAT site actually posted a very good article to help you do a cost-benefit analysis on should you take the GMAT even if it's not required. So I recommend you take a look and take advantage of that. If you're applying for a program that gives you the option to take one or the other, it makes sense for you to go online, take practice test, take advantage of the free practice test that they offer for both GRE and GMAT, and see which exam may play to your strength the best. And again, this site is full of information for you as well, and I recommend you check it out if you're thinking about the GMAT. For those of you who are international, TOEFL is actually a test that I took many years ago. And so let's review some of the international tests. So the first one is TOEFL. It has 4 sections, and all of them have 4 sections. And something that I'll mention is they do have speaking as well. So you should expect to be speaking on the testing day. So it's reading, listening, speaking, writing. The TOEFL is 3.5 hours, and you can take it right here on campus. The IELTS also has 4 sections, and it's a little shorter at 2 hours and 45 minutes. And something new that is an exciting opportunity for you if you need to take a proficiency test is Duolingo. It's the most affordable option. It also has 4 sections, but it is a 1-hour test. So let's go ahead and talk about the tests that, the English test in more details. Very much like the other tests that we talked about, all of them have pages that you can find more information, free resources, etc. For TOEFL, you're looking for the IBT TOEFL exam, which is the internet-based test. And I recommend you take advantage of that as well. TOEFL, again, is one of the tests that is currently being given at home as an option. IELTS is another one, and I recommend you take it similarly to the GMAT or GRE. If you have the option to take any of the proficiency exams for the program that you're applying, you can find out which test may work best for your skill set and give you the better chance at being more competitive. So if you're thinking if you have to take a proficiency test, you might want to take advantage of the free practice tests. The last one is the exciting one, if you will, the Duolingo. So there are now about 3,000 institutions, FAU being one of them, that accepts Duolingo as a proficiency exam. So you might consider this as an option. They also do offer free practice tests on their site for you to take a look on what the questions may look like on the actual test day. So before we leave, we're about to wrap up. We just want to mention, I don't know how many of you are FAU students, but right here on campus, we have test preparation courses. Because we are a department within FAU, we are able to offer, and FAU is not a not-for-profit university, a non-profit university, we are able to offer very affordable courses that are comprehensive. FAU students do get a discount for GRE, LSAT, and GMAT courses. You can go to fau.edu/testprep and take a look, and all the options for you. We are always posting new schedules. We posted fall, the summer is posted for you, and you can take a look if you have any questions there and reach out to us. I'm going to make sure that our information is listed in a few slides. So here, before we wrap, we wanted to recap the practice test that may be the most relevant to you. Again, the GRE at gre.org, the GMAT at mba.com, TOEFL test at TOEFL.org. The IELTS is IELTSindicator.com, and for Duolingo, you can find more information at englishtest.duolingo.com. And here's my information. I'm Juliana Snyder, and Amy also works with us. So if you have any questions about the tests themselves, more information about the programs, please feel free to give us a call. I appreciate your time and attention, and congratulations on taking this important step towards graduate school. Thank you. Back to you, Jordan.
Thank you so much, Juliana. So before we move into all things graduate admissions, I just want to encourage you to send in any and all questions via our Q&A. This really is your opportunity to have questions answered by our experts. We also have our Director of Admissions on the call as well. So if you have any questions for him, he'd be happy to ask. He's got tons and years of experience about college admissions. So this really is your opportunity to have any of your questions answered by our experts. So please send in your questions. So with that, we will go ahead and move into graduate admissions. So a little bit about the FAU Graduate College. We are a service college. So all of our academic graduate programs report kind of underneath our large umbrella. We make sure that everyone is in compliance. We audit your degrees. We put on workshops and programs to support your success as students. We are here to kind of field any sort of questions that you have, maybe about navigating FAU, how to apply, how to get in touch with graduate programs. We orient you once you've been admitted to the university, and then we have advisors on staff to help you with your thesis and dissertation. If you're writing a thesis or a dissertation, we have advisors that can help you do a degree audit. And then we are right there alongside you, cheering you on as you walk across that stage when you get your diploma. So we really are here from the start to the finish of your graduate degrees. And for those of you that don't know, this is the amount of graduate programs that FAU currently offers. We are actually in the process of creating a couple of new programs, so we'll have updated numbers for this. So we have a core total of programs of 94, but that doesn't include all of the concentrations that you can do through our programs. These are just our core programs, and then there's tons of concentrations that you can pursue within our program. So chances are, if you are looking for something, we will have that to offer to you. And for those of you that also do not know, FAU does have a medical school as well. So they handle their own admissions, but if you're interested in medical school or a medical program, I would encourage you to check out our FAU Medical School. So financial support. I feel like I went into good detail about the loans and the graduate grant that you can receive as a student here. What I really want to focus on now are some of our graduate fellowship awards and assistantship positions. Assistantship positions are a hot commodity here at FAU. Everybody wants one. And I want to tell you a little bit more about them and also how to obtain an assistantship position as well. So our fellowships. The 5 fellowships listed there on the top are internal fellowships to the Graduate College. We open applications for these fellowships every single spring semester, typically by February 1st. And then we have our application deadlines at the beginning of May. So we actually just closed applications for this year. These fellowships, we put together review committees. I'm the point of contact for them. So if you have any questions about funding or what needs to be included with your application, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. They range in amount from $2,500 to $5,000, and then we would split that up between 2 academic semesters for you. So typically, you know, a fellowship will pay for at least 1 full course every semester, which is very nice when you're looking for funding. We also have numerous external fellowships that we have listed on our website as well. These are just 3 that we're highlighting here: the Dissertation Year Awards, the NSF Graduate Research Fellowship, and a McKnight Doctoral Fellowship. But we do have other external fellowships listed on our website. So if you just go to our fau.edu/graduate website, and then we have a resources tab where you'll see our fellowship and awards. I would encourage you to take a look at those, and you can apply to multiple fellowships. It's a very common question that I get every semester is, can I apply to multiple fellowships? Yes, absolutely. Applying to multiple fellowships and scholarships gives you a better chance of receiving one of the options that you've applied for. So I would encourage you to apply for any and everything that you see that you fit the eligibility criteria for. So assistantships. As I mentioned, assistantships are a hot commodity here at FAU. So we offer 3 different types of assistantships. We have graduate assistants, which they work in offices similar to mine. We have a GA in our office who helps us with recruitment and dealing with prospective students. He's, you know, scanning documents for us as well. So They work in many different offices around campus, and their job duties range from office to office. So graduate assistant positions, they require about 20 hours per week of work, and then in exchange, you get a tuition waiver and a stipend for your time worked. So for those of you that are looking to have your tuition waived, I would highly encourage that you look for an assistantship position. Keep in mind that all of these positions are awarded by each individual department. So if you're like, hey, working in the graduate college sounds great, I want to help with student recruitment and I want to work with prospective students, you would just reach out to us directly to ask about any of those opportunities, and then we can let you know how to go about applying or if we're not hiring at that time. Same with teaching positions. So if you're like, I think I want to be a faculty member, or I think I want to go into some type of teaching position, look for a teaching assistant position. Teaching assistant positions, again, are going to be awarded by your individual academic program. So you'll want to communicate with the program coordinator about opportunities and how to apply for them, because each program awards them in a different way. Some of them will have you apply for it, and then some of them will only admit students if they have an assistantship position available for them. So you would just reach out to your academic program and ask. Teaching assistants, they work about 20 hours per week, so part-time job. They also come with a tuition waiver and a stipend for your time worked. In addition, this year we offered a 75% health insurance subsidiary. I think I said that right. So for those of you that are looking for health insurance, we pay 75%, and then you would just pay the remaining 25% if you are in a teaching position. And then we have our research assistant positions, again, going to be awarded by your individual academic program. So while you're perusing your program website and you're looking at all of that amazing research that faculty are conducting within your program, and you're like, oh my gosh, I could really see myself being involved in that research. Reach out to that faculty member that you see listed there. Ask them how you can get involved if they have an assistantship position available for you. It would be 20 hours a week, just like the other two types of assistant positions. Again, comes with a tuition waiver and a stipend. And it comes with some hands-on experience with research. So if you are really passionate about potentially an undergraduate research project that you're working on, that you're hoping to continue into your graduate studies, a research position would be the best route for you. Again, ask your program coordinator how to apply for something like this. Some of them are awarded with your acceptance to the program, and then some of them actually have an application process that you would have to go to and interview for that position. So just ask your academic program. If you were to be awarded a assistantship position, it could potentially impact your financial aid, where you wouldn't be getting as much in like a student loan offer, or potentially wouldn't get the graduate student grant, depending on what type of funding you're receiving with your assistantship position. But you would just let the financial aid office know that, hey, I'm getting this percentage of a tuition waiver for my program. How is that going to impact my financial aid? And they'll be able to let you know. So I mentioned a lot about reaching out to program coordinators and looking at the program website to determine faculty members that you potentially want to work with. And this is where I'm going to show you how to find that contact information. So this is a snippet of our website. And if you were to click there where it says programs, it takes you to a page that looks like this. Now, this is going to be our comprehensive list of graduate programs. So if you don't see a program listed here, chances are we don't offer it, because we are updating this as we're developing new programs. But maybe you have something in mind and you're just not sure if we offer something similar. I'd be happy to help you with that too. So just send me an email and I can let you know, if you're looking for X, Y, and Z, I can say, well, we don't have that, but we do have this, and this is similar to what you're looking for. And then you can look at the curriculum for that program. So on the left there is going to be the name of the major. And then on the right is going to be the level of degree that's offered in that particular program. If you were to click the level of degree, it opens up something that looks like this. And this is what we call our program sheet, or your how-to guide on what is required to submit with your application. So your program sheet is going to let you know, again, what the degree is, what types of specializations or concentrations or research interests are within that academic program. It's also going to provide you with the contact information for the program coordinator. So these are the people that you want to reach out to ask about assistantship positions. Below their contact information, it's going to be the link to the program website. So if you want to look at the curriculum more in depth, or if you want to look at faculty research or just kind of learn more about that particular department and program, that is where I would encourage you to go. Below the contact information and the website information are going to be the application deadlines. So it's really important to pay attention to the application deadlines because not all of our programs are admitting every single semester. Some of our programs only admit once per year. Some of them are admitting every other year. Some of them do admit 3 times per year. So this is where you can kind of find out what semesters they're admitting and when you need to submit your application. And then at the bottom are going to be the admissions requirements. So anything listed there at the bottom under admissions requirements is required for you to turn in with your application, and it needs to be turned in by the application deadline date in order for you to be considered for that particular term. As Juliana mentioned, there are some programs that are waiving the GRE and the GMAT at this time. So just go to our website and look again at what programs are still requiring the GRE or GMAT. If you find that your program is waiving that requirement, you do not need to submit test scores. It'll still be listed here on the program sheet, but if it's offering a waiver, you do not need to submit test scores at this time to be considered. So that is where you would find all the admissions requirements and application deadlines for our programs. And also keep in mind that application deadlines are different for every program. So you may see one program has a fall deadline of July 1st, but you may look at another program and that application deadline is March 15th. So just really pay attention to the application deadlines and make sure that you're applying to the correct term and you're applying by the deadline. So some of our pathways to a graduate education. So some of you attending this session may currently be FAU undergraduate students. If that is the case, I would encourage you to look at some of our combined degree programs or our BS to MS programs. These programs allow you as a senior at FAU to start taking graduate level coursework. And that graduate level coursework can be counted towards your undergraduate degree and your graduate degree. And it often will fast track your track to finishing your master's degree. And sometimes students that do our BS to MS programs can actually finish their master's degree in just a year. So that cuts off a whole year of graduate studies, and then you can get on with your careers and your professional lives by just doing a combined degree program. I would also encourage you as an undergraduate student to take summer courses as well. Some students decide not to take summer courses, and that's fine. But if you do take summer courses, that can speed up your track to graduation and then ultimately get you into a graduate program sooner. Some other pathways for potentially international students. So if you know that you need to take a TOEFL or an IELTS or Duolingo, and you're taking the tests and you're spending money, but you just can't get our minimum scores required on those exams, I would encourage you to look at our Intensive English Institute. This is a way where they'll enroll you in academic English courses and will give you those skills needed to be successful in an English-speaking classroom. So I would encourage you to go just look up FAU Intensive English Institute and it'll pull up their programs. They do have programs that are starting every semester, so it's not too late to join one of those semesters to get your English proficiency taken care of. And then of course, some of our other pathways are for our state college students. So for any of you that are pursuing a bachelor's degree at a state college, that's perfect. We will feed those courses and your prerequisites perfectly into any of our master's programs. So those are some of your options to get to a graduate degree. So graduate student success. So we show you these photos so that you can kind of envision yourself here. The photo there on the left are our inaugural 3-minute thesis winners. 3-minute thesis is an opportunity for those of you that are conducting research to get up on stage in front of your peers, faculty mentors, Boca Raton community people, other graduate students, your friends, your family. And it's an opportunity for you to present your research in 3 minutes or less, which you're like, Jordan, that's crazy. I can't present my research in 3 minutes or less. Yes, you can. You should go to our website and look at some of our past 3-minute thesis pitches, and you'll see the incredible research that our graduate students are conducting here at FAU. If you compete in 3-minute thesis and you are selected as one of the winners, you get some scholarship money that you can either put towards your tuition or you could put back into your research. So I would encourage you to kind of look online. The last 2 years of our 3-minute thesis, we did completely online. So all of the videos are linked to YouTube and right there on our website where you can check them out. The photo there on the right are some recent doctoral grads. And just get excited about the possibilities once you do a graduate degree. I had the privilege of helping out with commencement a couple weeks ago, and the emotions and the energy in our football stadium on commencement day was unlike anything I've ever felt. It was the first commencement that we've held since COVID, and it really was a very special day to see all the graduates and the friends and family out there to support their graduates. It was really exciting. I got to seat the doctoral students in their seats and congratulate them personally. So it was really exciting, the opportunities once you kind of put your mind to something, what the outcome can potentially be. So some of our enrollment numbers. I show you this to show that while FAU is a decent sized university, I would say we're probably like a medium sized university in the state of Florida. We have about 30,000 students, a little over 30,000 students. Our graduate student population is still a very small population. So we have just over 5,000 students from this past fall semester. So for those of you that are looking for personalized attention in your graduate programs, look no further. Our graduate courses are small in size, which really allows you that one-on-one attention from your faculty members. It also allows you to really connect with your cohort in your program and your peers. One of my favorite parts of doing a graduate program here at FAU was really getting to hear everyone's stories and backgrounds in my own courses. So I really enjoyed that. My classes were, I would say, no more than 20 students in my graduate program. And I know Austin did a different program than I did, and I think you would echo that. You had about 20 students or so in your MBA courses too. So big school, small graduate student population, which really allows that one-on-one attention. So our admissions. So in the fall of 2020, we had about 2,500 students apply for admissions here at FAU. We ultimately admitted about 1,600 new students, and then we had just about 1,300 students enroll with us, brand new students enroll with us. Now you're like, Jordan, where are the other numbers? Like, do you deny anybody? Do you have people that don't complete their applications? Yes, we absolutely do. We consider those no decisions or incompletes. And that essentially just means you didn't turn in all of the supplemental documents required for your program to make an admissions decision on your application. So supplemental documents are things like your personal statements, your resumes, letters of recommendation. You really want to make sure that if it's listed there on the program sheet, that you're turning in those materials so that you could be given full consideration for admission. That would be a reason why you would get a no decision, or your application would be marked incomplete. Incomplete means you didn't turn in a transcript that was required, or you didn't turn in test scores that potentially were required. So you can always call or email our office to ask about your application status. We also have a link online where you can check your application status at any time, so you can see exactly what we've received and what is still pending from your application. So really just make sure that you're turning in every single piece of application material that's required for admission. All right, so our application process. Now I'm gonna have this split into summer, which you may still be able to start this summer, and then fall, which we still do have deadlines that we're taking applications for fall. And then I'll have spring 22 and beyond. So for summer and fall admission, you're gonna go to our website, which is just fau.edu/graduate. And you'll see an Apply Now button on our homepage. You would click that Apply Now button, and it's going to take you to another page, and you'll just click what type of student you're going to be, whether you're domestic or you're international. International, we consider S&J visas. Any other student would follow our domestic student guidelines and regulations, unless you're attended a university that was outside the United States where the medium of instruction was not English. You would need to submit a TOEFL or IELTS Duolingo for that. So you go into the application portal. The first thing it's going to do is ask you to create an account. If you've never applied to a graduate program at FAU, you need to create a new account. If you have previously applied to a graduate program at FAU, you can likely just log in with the credentials that you created when you submitted your application before. That'll let you into the application portal, and from there you would just fill out the online application. So it's going to ask you, for your personal information, your address, what program you're applying for, where you attended, any of your universities, where those were, attendance dates. It's going to ask for potentially employment information and whatnot. So you fill in all the information that it's asking for, and then you would click submit. Once you click submit, it's going to give you the option to pay your $30 application fee. I would encourage you to just pay it right after you submit your application. We sometimes have students who are like, hey, I submitted my application, and they'll, come back to us a month after they submit their application, only to find out that they didn't pay their application fee and that their application wasn't ever reviewed. So make sure that you're paying your application fee. Then the next thing you want to do is submit your transcripts. So we need transcripts from any previously attended institution. That includes that community college that you went home for one summer, just take a couple of classes as a transient student. That's if, say, you attended Broward College and did your AA degree and then transferred to UM, we would need both of those transcripts as well. The only transcripts we would not need are FAU transcripts. That's just because we can access your student record. So you don't need to submit transcripts to us because we can pull all of your grades from your previous student record. The next thing you want to do is submit test scores. And this is, I say, if required. So we mentioned that some of our programs are offering GRE and GMAT waivers right now. If your program is offering a GRE or a GMAT waiver, you would not need to submit test scores. Some of our programs just don't require the GRE or GMAT at all. So just look at those program sheets, look at the website where we have our waiver information posted, and then you can determine if you need to submit test scores. For those of you that are non-native English speakers or your education was done outside the US and it was not conducted in English, you would need to submit English proficiency exam scores, and we accept TOEFL, IELTS, and Duolingo. And then lastly, you want to submit your supplemental documents. So that's going to be personal statement, letters of recommendation, resumes. Some programs will ask for a writing sample, or they may potentially ask you for an interview. Some of our arts programs will ask for portfolios, digital copies of your work. So look at those program sheets and see what's required. So for our fall application, some of our applications are set up to take your supplemental docs right into your application, and some of them are not. So if you know that your program requires supplemental documents and it doesn't ask for it in your application, you will need to send an email to the program office to ask how they would prefer to receive your supplemental documents. So that's what the application process looks like for summer and fall. Now, for those of you that are applying for spring 2022 and beyond, you're going to need to apply through our centralized application system, or our CAS systems. So if you are applying for an engineering program, you would be applying through Engineering CAS. And if you're applying for any other graduate program, you'd be applying through Grad CAS, with the exception of our business programs, which you'll apply for through our website still. If you go to fau.edu/graduate, we're going to have our spring 2022 website up very, very soon, and it'll have all of this information. It'll actually list like what programs are housed in which CAS system. So you would log into the CAS system where your program is located, and even if you look at our website and you're like, Jordan, I can't figure out what CAS system my application is in, just send me an email. I'm happy to point you in the right direction and make sure that you get the correct link for the application. The CAS system is similar to our online system, except the CAS system is going to take every supporting documents as an upload into your application. So you'll fill out the CAS system, you're going to pay the application fee. The application fee it will vary depending on which CAS system that you're in. And then the next thing you need to do is submit your official transcripts. So official domestic transcripts and NACES evaluations can be submitted directly to the CAS system that you applied for. FAU students or alumni do not need to submit transcripts. It'll say on the application through the CAS system to request your transcripts. You do not need to submit transcripts. Please do not submit FAU transcripts. We can pull your records. For our international applicants that are requesting an FAU internal evaluation, because we do offer this service, you would submit your official transcripts and translations directly to the FAU Graduate College. We'll conduct the evaluation and then we'll attach them to your CAS application when it is completed. Okay, so domestic transcripts, NACES evaluations go directly to your CAS system that you applied for. International transcripts and translations for students requesting internal evaluations come directly to the graduate college. Then if your program is still requiring the GRE or GMAT, or you need to submit IELTS or Duolingo scores, those scores will be submitted directly to FAU. If you're taking the TOEFL, those scores can be submitted directly to the CAS system. And then lastly, as I mentioned, all of your supplemental material will be uploaded directly into the CAS application. So you'll want to make sure that you have ready your resume. Every student will be uploading a resume through the CAS system. You also want to make sure that you have your personal statement ready to go. You'll want to have the names and the email address of the people that you would like to recommend you if your program requires letters of recommendation. You'll also want to have any sort of portfolio ready or anything else like that to upload directly into your application. Until you upload those documents, it will not allow you to submit the application. So you have to make sure that every little piece of information that it's asking for that you submit through the application. And this new system is really nice because it has 4 quadrants on your homepage, and they'll turn green once you've completed all the requirements in that quadrant. So if ever in doubt of like, I don't know if I submitted it, just go back to your homepage and then look at the quadrants, and then you can see what is still needs to be completed and what is still outstanding or what has been completed. So that's spring 22 and beyond. Right now, through our CAS system, we only have spring 2022 applications open. For any of you that are applying or considering applying to summer 22, fall 22, or spring 23, those applications will be opening after Labor Day. So check back on our website in September for the link to those applications. All right. Here are my top tips, and then we're going to go into your questions. I've been seeing them come in through the event, so I'm excited to answer any of your questions for you. So my first tip is to know your deadlines. Pay attention to the program sheets. Make sure that you're applying to a correct term and make sure you're applying before the deadline. Our CAS applications will close on the application deadline, and then once they close, that's it. You're going to have to wait until the next semester in order to be considered. Once they close, we can't open them or make it visible to you. So you really want to make sure that you're applying on time. Number 2, complete your FAFSA. So even if you're saying, hey, Jordan, I know I'm getting an assistantship position, I don't need a FAFSA because I'm not taking out a student loan. Submit your FAFSA anyway, okay? And I say this because some of our fellowships that we offer through the graduate college requires that you have a FAFSA on file. And also, you could potentially be eligible for that FAU graduate student grant. So who doesn't like grant money? That's not money you have to pay back. That's just money they're going to give you for being a student. So submit your FAFSA anyway. Number 3, search for fellowship, scholarship, and awards early. So I mentioned that our applications for our fellowships are open every single spring semester. Same with the financial aid scholarships. They're open every single spring semester. But we leave the listings on our page year round, and we do that so that you can take a look at the opportunities and what type of funding is offered. So get onto our websites and look at what's out there. There are also numerous scholarship search engines as well that you can sign up for. So one of the common ones is like fastweb.com. That's a good website. It allows you to kind of put in your profile information, what type of degree you're looking for or obtaining. And then it's automatically sending you scholarships that fit your profile. So there's a lot of funding out there for your graduate studies, and I would really encourage you to look often and be persistent when it comes to your applications. Number 4, pick your GRE or GMAT. Yes, a lot of our programs are offering waivers at this time, but there are still a good amount of programs that are requiring the GRE or GMAT. And those programs are going to be needing your test scores in order to make an admission decision. So make sure that if it's still required, that you schedule those tests well in advance of your deadline so that there's time for your test scores to come in before your application deadline. It does take about 2 weeks for us to get your test scores after you take your exam. So you want to make sure that you schedule your test no less than 2 weeks before your application deadline. Number 5, apply early. So we do have applications open right now through spring 22. Our applications beyond spring 22 are going to be opening in September. So if you're eager and ready to apply, then check back in September and submit that application. Number 6, make sure to submit all of your application materials. So that's your supplemental docs, your test scores, your transcripts. Really just make sure you submit everything so that you can be given full consideration for your graduate program of choice. Number 7, know the faculty and staff at the department level. I cannot stress this enough. To reach out to program coordinators, reach out to faculty members that you find their research interesting. Just like you are looking for your best fit graduate program, graduate programs are looking for their best fit student as well. So while you're evaluating the program and having that conversation about research interests and, hey, where are some of your graduates employed? What could my life look like after I pursue this degree? They're also evaluating you and your interests to make sure that you're going to be a good fit for their program. So reach out to the faculty and staff in your program and don't be shy. I find that our graduate faculty are very friendly and more than willing to have conversations with prospective applicants and students. So if you're reaching out and you're kind of hitting a wall and you're not being able to get in touch with them, just let me know. I'm happy to facilitate a connection for you. Or if, even if it's not with that faculty member, I can usually get you in touch with the department secretary or person that kind of knows the faculty members well, and then they can put you in contact with the faculty that you're trying to get in touch with. So just let me know how I can help you. Use me as a resource. And number 8, reach out to the graduate college with any questions. Like I just said, I'm here to assist you. So we can schedule one-on-one advising appointments to go over your specific graduate program and some of your specific scenarios that you may be in. We are here we can provide you with campus tours. If you contact me, we can schedule a customized tour for you. And then once you are enrolled at FAU, take advantage of some of the workshops and programming that we offer through the graduate college as well. We really just want to see you succeed in your graduate programs, and just let us know how we can assist you in doing that. So here is the contact information. So there's my contact information, my email address, and my phone number. I've also included the graduate college website there again. I put Juliana's contact information back on the screen as well, her email and phone number, and the website for the test prep. So for those of you that are interested in enrolling in a test preparation course, you can go to the test prep website and find the course information. And then, of course, again, the financial aid contact information. So I just listed their phone number because there's not a particular email address that you can email into. But then, of course, I've listed their website there as well. All right, perfect. Well, thank you all again for taking time out of your Thursday evening to join us. I hope that you have found this session beneficial. If you forget anything that we say, 1, we'll have the recording on our website. And 2, we are here to support you. So my contact information is there. I'm happy to schedule a one-on-one advising appointment tailored to your needs and your particular graduate program of interest to go over any sort of questions that you have. I know Juliana is welcome to talking to students about test preparation and some of the options that you have for test prep as well. So just thank you so much. And we look forward to reviewing your application soon. Have a great evening.